We are tracking the tropics here at WBTV News with the WBTV First Alert Weather Team. I'm Chandler Morgan here in the WBTV News Now desk on this Friday. We want to bring in meteorologist Lee Brock right now because we are eyeing something going on in the Gulf Coast as we speak, Lee. So let's get into this and see exactly kind of what we know so far and then the potential of where this can go.
Right now, we already have rain along the Gulf Coast states. We have it along places like Louisiana. They're getting a couple light showers, maybe in Mississippi and Alabama and even North Florida. They're getting a couple of showers for now. So that's where the system is so far. This is a storm that hasn't even formed yet. So we always want to know what's going to happen by the time it gets to us. But we have to remember this is a storm that hasn't even formed. It hasn't made landfall. It hasn't moved over land. So a lot is still up in the air right now. So that's kind of where we stand right now. It's forming. We're working on it right now.
It's on its way, so it's kind of brewing, if you will, you know, kind of the term that we use. But we're definitely eyeing it. We're definitely keeping, you know, close watch over it because if there's the potential that it does decide to form, Lee, from what I understand, this would actually get a name. And what would that name be?
That would be Claudette. Right, I can show you the track actually. This would be Claudette. As of right now, it has a very long name for a very small storm. The winds are only 35 miles an hour, so it's not even strong enough to have a name yet. But here's the name: Potential Tropical Cyclone 3. That's its current name. It could get upgraded to Claudette though if we do get it to get a little bit stronger later on today, and it could do that.
So Claudette would be the name, and what I understand too, this would actually be the first system or storm rather named storm that would make landfall for the Atlantic season this year, right?
Yeah, we had Anna, that stayed out over the ocean. We had Bill, that was just a couple of days ago, that stayed out over the ocean, and so now we have potentially Claudette.
Potentially Claudette, so we are already working our way down the list of the names. We're on C. We've got a long way to go, obviously, but Claudette seems to be the one that could potentially kind of affect us. Lee, I'm wondering, so when we say potential for affecting us, this isn't necessarily something that, at least from the models you guys are showing and tracking, would go over us. It could just bring some rain to us, right?
Yeah, what we're thinking right now, and I can show you the official National Hurricane Center track. It's taking it to the north over the next little bit. So this would be at 2 o'clock on Saturday morning. So it's still heading to the north. It's moving about 14 miles an hour. So thankfully it is moving. Sometimes we get these storms that just sit in one place and you think, is this ever going to move? When is this going to kind of get its act together? This one is though moving. So it looks like maybe late tonight, early tomorrow morning, that's when it makes landfall. Probably somewhere in the eastern part of Louisiana, maybe Mississippi, Alabama. They're all going to be looking at some pretty heavy rain at least. And then from there, it kind of veers to the north and the east. And this is a little bit different from the track it was taking. It looked like yesterday this might come just right over top of us, but as of right now, a lot of the models are kind of sneaking it a little bit farther to the south, and so that might actually mean less rain for a lot of us, especially the mountains and the foothills. You might actually miss out on this completely as of right now. Not so much for the eastern counties and the southern counties, but at least some of our counties might have less rain than it looked like was originally a potential.
We're kind of dealing with a split situation on where we could go. There's a lot that still has to happen today from what you guys are telling. If it were to develop into a named system, that would happen sometime today, likely, right?
Yeah, but you bring up an interesting point. Whether or not it gets a name, it still has a lot of rain associated with it. So it still has the potential to get us wet, whether or not the strength is enough to be a tropical storm or not. Would you like to see Futurecast? I can show you that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's show everybody who's watching us here on, Facebook Live and on streaming with us. If you have a question for Lee, drop it in the comments right here. But let's take a look at that and see kind of where this is going for us.
Okay, so right now, and this is verifying because we've just seen the radar and this is really where the rain is. It's just, the heavy rain anyway, is just to the south of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So we put this into motion, and as we head into the night, this is 5 o'clock on Saturday morning. Notice up where Charlotte is, notice where North and South Carolina are. We are well away from this storm heading into Saturday morning. There's plenty of rain along the Gulf Coast, but none for us. And then we'll head into the evening hours on Saturday. So if you have any outdoor plans tomorrow, tomorrow, they should be just fine because this, unless you're going to Mississippi or Alabama or Georgia, if you're going there, you might run into some problems. But if you're staying around the Carolinas, pretty much all Saturday, there's only about a 20% chance of showers for us. So then we continue to put it into motion. This is Sunday at 7 a.m., the very beginning of Father's Day. We have mainly cloudy skies, but we're still dry around here. It's through the day into the afternoon hours. That's, wait, say that again?
I was just referencing back to our producers over here to kind of ask a question real quick. No problem.
Oh, okay. So as we head into the evening hours, this is Sunday at 5 p.m. That's when some of the heaviest rain really starts to get into our South Carolina counties, but also our North and South Carolina border counties as well. So we'll watch out for that. By 11 o'clock, it's right over top of us. But you'll notice in these past couple frames, there's not a lot for the mountains and the foothills. And so this is going to be one of those storms where I think there should probably be a pretty sharp cutoff between who gets a lot of rain and who gets almost no rain. And so as of right now, it looks like the Charlotte area is going to be pretty close to that cutoff, and south and east is going to get more, north and west is going to get a whole lot less. As we head into Monday morning, notice how that whole system is kind of moving off to the east. And so the worst of it is probably out of here. Mountains and foothills, you might actually see the sun again. And then we see it continue off to the east from there. Get a little bit of a break until Tuesday morning. Most of Tuesday, or first part of Tuesday anyway, looks dry. And then we have another system coming this way. This has nothing to do with the tropics. This is just going to be a cold front coming in on Tuesday. So we actually have, this is our second first alert on Tuesday, just for a plain old cold front after whatever we get from Claudette or whatever whether or not the storm gets a name.
Interesting
This next
stuff, Lee.
system.
Thank you for walking us through that. Have a quick question and comment from Diane Cantrell watching with us. Diane, thanks. She wants to know, she's actually going to Hatteras this weekend. Looks like maybe some Father's Day plans or potential plans for her family. So she kind of wants to know how, potentially her travel there or her time there, if this is going to see any of the effects of what we're seeing right now moving its way up through the Gulf Coast and potentially to our area.
So Saturday should be good. Saturday should be mainly dry. And then Sunday, probably most of Sunday should also be dry. I mean, we all might see some breezy conditions because of this. I think most of the rain through Sunday on Cape Hatteras anyway should be fairly dry. So she should be okay. Monday might be a bit of a different story as it comes a little farther to the east. But if she's just staying through the weekend, then yeah, she might be good.
Good, I'm glad. All right, so thanks, Diane. She says thank you to Lee for tracking that for her. We're always tracking things here at WBTV News and the First Alert Weather Team. Lee, thanks for being on with us. As we kind of move into our next portion here, want to remind everybody this is a really good time to download the WBTV First Alert Weather app. I'm going to bring up a full screen here recording. This is one of the ways that you can track different things happening. There is a way that you can also track hurricane systems. You can add that layer when you go in. Right now we're looking at the hour-by-hour forecast, so you can see when there's something that they want to alert you to, it's going to show up in red. So that's a really good tool that you can have here as well as we're, walking through the potential for any developments over the weekend, especially on a weekend like Father's Day, when we know it's so important to have those great, kind of weather and with your plans as well. All right, next here on WBTV News Now, I want to take you over to a segment that QC Life did as we're working our way into hurricane season. It's really important to be prepared for what could potentially come our way. So how do you get your property prepared? How are you able to, kind of right now do the things you need to do to make sure that you are staying safe and then that your home is staying safe throughout this? So I'm going to play this piece right now with our Mary King from QC Life.
Hurricane Preparedness Week in North Carolina, and today we are talking about getting the outside of your home ready. In fact, this is a look at the sustained wind speeds for hurricanes. A Category 1 is 74 to 95 mile-per-hour winds, and that's actually enough to snap large tree branches and knock over trees that have shallow roots. If you look at a Category 2, 96 to 110 miles per hour. A Category 3, 111 to 129 miles per hour, and at this point, a lot more trees will be snapped or even uprooted. And then we go to a Category 4, which is 130 to 156 miles per hour winds. And then a Category 5, which is 157 mile per hour winds or higher. And while we rarely see the Category 3, 4, and 5s here in Charlotte, even a Cat 1 can cause damage to your property. So Now is the time to think ahead and get prepared. Matt Betts is the Assistant District Manager at WBTV Expert Company, and he's joining us live this morning. Good morning to you, Matt.
Good morning to you all.
This is such good information for us. In fact, we've had a lot of severe weather recently with just tornadoes snapping these trees in our area. So let's talk about some of the things we can do now to help, whether it's the severe weather we're seeing now or the hurricanes later this year.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, at this point, most of the trees have kind of fully leafed out. A lot of people are home right now. They're out in their yards. So just be observant. And if you see a tree that, hasn't leafed out, or it's got sizable limbs that don't have any leaves on them and are declining, that's kind of the trees are talking to us at that point, telling us, hey, there's something going on here. May need to take care of some issues before they turn into larger problems.
So Matt, a lot of people see that and then they think, okay, I can probably take this down myself. What is your recommendation in that regard? I mean, what are there trees we can tackle ourselves, or do you say, hey, always call the experts because you just don't know?
Well, for smaller ornamental trees that, someone can take care of with a small chainsaw or handsaw, if there's no risk, by all means. But these larger trees, especially the ones that, pose the most threat to properties and, human life, those are the ones where you need to call an expert in to have a certified arborist come out and assess, and then hire a company that has insurance and has your best interest in mind, and not only wants to protect your house and property from the tree, but also wants to make sure that their employees are safe when they're removing trees that are hazardous and potentially pose a threat.
Good advice there. Hey, Matt, when we see these trees come down, we often know it's because they have these weaker roots, or they're dead, of course. So one of your recommendation is to boost the roots. How do you do that?
Yes, ma'am. So now is kind of the ideal time to perform a fertilization process. So we at WBTV, we implement our own patented fertilizer called Arbor Green, and it's typically an annual process that you can go in and we fertilize the root zone of the tree, and the tree absorbs it over the year, and it can help strengthen the root zone, which also transfers to the remainder of the tree. But the roots are the foundation of the tree. So if you have a weak foundation, it's kind of like having a really nice house on a foundation that's, built on sand. So we want to make sure that we keep those as healthy and happy as possible, because in all honesty, the canopy of the tree can look fine and everything looks good, but if we have a compromised root system, it's kind of, just as dangerous as having a completely dead tree.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, Matt, we had a little bit of a freeze there. I think we've got you back, though. And so when we talk about the roots and needing those to be healthy and strong, one of the other things you mentioned is being able to cable or brace a tree to help strengthen it. When would you do that?
That's at any time of the year, really. So if an ISA certified arborist is on site, they can recognize potential trees that have the threat of splitting, and sometimes there's ways that we can brace multiple leads together to not only keep the tree from failing, but it kind of keeps everything in unison. That way, when there is a storm or high winds, the canopy of the tree is going to move, but if we can have it moving as one instead of fighting against each other, that can mitigate some of the risk associated with those weak branch unions.
Great advice there. Again, Matt Davey with WBTV Expert Company. Again, so Matt, just do the survey of the yard and the trees that aren't leafing and they're not doing anything. Like you said, they're talking to us. So better to step in now than later. All right.
That's it.
Appreciate you. Have a great day.
Thank you all. Take care.
That was our Mary King from QC Life with some great tips, interviewing about how you can prepare your home and prepare your property as we move closer into and work our way through really hurricane season. We've been talking about potentially Claudette, which would potentially form today, so that's what we're tracking here, keeping a close eye on it. Of course, we had Lee Brock on earlier. I want to go ahead and remind you, though, this is a really good time, like we said earlier, to download the WBTV First Alert Weather app. We showed you how you can go through hour by hour and actually track things that are happening. It's really important this weekend, too, for Father's Day, so this is a good look at how you can actually look at the radar in real time. You can track what's going to be happening now. You can go and click through the future, and you can kind of see and plan around what's going to be happening through your area. So as we're talking about the potential for a different track or something to kind of go a different way with what we're looking at in the Gulf and what we're tracking in the tropics, this is a really good tool to have for your weekend plans, especially this weekend with Father's Day. Thanks for joining us here in the WBTV News Now desk. We hope that you have a great day.